hungry. Feed us.
What are we hunting?
No, boy!
It's been 8 years since we last saw Kratos take down Mount Olympus, and in 2018 he is finally coming back and will be having his first official PS4 release. This time, we are placed within the world of Norse mythology, with a lot of new concepts and features that will bring God of War to the next generation. Here are 5 reasons why the new God of War will thrive. One of the most glaring changes being made in the new God of War is the new up-and-close player-centered camera. While previous titles opted for a more zoomed-out camera, the PS4 introduction to God of War will feature a more traditional third-person view. Immediately, this makes for a more personal experience between the player and Kratos. This change, along with the new combat, will greatly change how God of War has traditionally been played. Gone are the scenarios of easily hacking and slashing your way through enemies closing in from all areas. The over-the-shoulder style of camera will force players to be more aware of their surroundings and keep their focus on enemy positions. This is especially a big change for battles against bigger enemies when the camera would essentially turn Kratos into a tiny ant. This camera change follows in the footsteps of most third-person action-centered games, and God of War will surely benefit from it. Traditionally, the God of War games have all been hack and slash. This time around, that will not be the approach. To complement the new camera, combat will also be up close and personal. Also notably different is Kratos' weapon arsenal. We will be abandoning the Blades of Chaos in exchange for a more world and mechanic appropriate weapon. An axe that deals elemental damage as well as can be summoned back at will after throwing. While the throwing aspect can lead to some ranged abilities, most fights will be within arm's reach of the enemy and will force players to interact to encounters differently than before. Not much is known about Kratos' extended weapon arsenal, but we have seen him use a shield to barrel through enemies, so it is safe to say that there is more to come. Along with the fresh look and feel of the combat, Kratos will also have a living combat companion. While little is known of his story role, gameplay-wise, it seems that Atreus will help with aggro of enemies as well as deal some ranged elemental damage with his bow. These changes change the combat up a lot from previous titles, but will bring the game into more modern combat. While we spent the original trilogy journeying and murdering our way through the story solo, our adventure will have a companion this time in the form of Atreus, Kratos' son. We don't know much about Atreus as of now, besides being Kratos' son and he has lost his mother. However, it does seem that he will be a very prominent aspect of the gameplay. Atreus comes equipped with a bow that has different elemental arrows that will provide additional help in combat. Also, the father-son aspect seems to have worked its own way into gameplay, giving you scenarios like the deer hunt that we first saw. This title being set what we expect is years after the original trilogy, Atreus will most likely be the vessel for the players throughout the journey as we learn more about this new world and see what drove Kratos to this new life. This title will explore a more human side of Kratos as we get to see what fatherhood means to a man that murdered his own father. Throughout Kratos' adventures, we have encountered Greek characters from Prometheus to Hades and all monsters in between. Seeing as that world has been destroyed, a new playground needed to be picked for Kratos' new adventure. Throughout the first trailer, we were introduced to a new world that will feature Norse mythology and the gods of the Vikings. This brings with it the obvious more well-known characters of Odin, Thor, and Loki, and undoubtedly will feature many others. This new world has also rubbed off on Kratos a bit, as we see he now has a full beard as well as some Norse-themed armor. His axe also shares very similar characteristics as Thor's hammer Mjolnir. This new era already looks phenomenal, and with the landscape and monsters, it has the potential to tell another epic saga with a whole new cast of characters. Along with all the changes of gameplay, story, and location, the new God of War also brings something else to the table, a chance for a rebirth of the franchise. The new God of War titles have always been pretty well known within the gaming community, but have never had an outreach that reached a broader audience. That's not to say that the past games haven't been good or memorable, but the heavy focus on gore, violence, and overall overkill possibly deterred people in the past from picking these titles up. The new God of War seems to be bringing more humanity into Kratos' world, and with that, hopefully a broader audience. In combination with the changes in gameplay and stunning graphics, this could be a title that grabs a lot of attention. With games like Assassin's Creed Origins going through a similar rebirth, now could be the time that the God of War name comes back into the prominent spotlight of Sony. God of War will be coming out on April 20th this year, and Santa Monica Studios will surely bring us a game that is worthy of the name.